question is kind of like was around licensing. So, I've got a set of courses that I've already taught over the past, years, and I can reshuffle, repurpose that material. I'm just thinking about like licensing white label products. How do we broach that conversation with people? Do we target an organization and think, wow, they've got a lot of people, they could do with a product that would, involve this and take their people from here to here? So do we pitch it to them in that way? Or do we say, look, this is my product? Kind of like how do you start that conversation?
So one, you make a list of all of the schools, organizations, and places that do have guest teachers that do currently license content. So for example, for your genre, looking at like the Daily Ohm, they license courses all the time. Somebody like the Daily Ohm is they are exclusive. So if you license a course through the Daily Ohm, that course is exclusive to their audience. So you'd have to recreate the same course, but slightly modified in order to sell it somewhere else. A lot of platforms, though, are non-exclusive. So lots of different apps. I mean, for what you're doing, Jenny, I really strongly believe audio is your best friend, because if you're talking about energy, people don't need to look at a screen. They don't need to see you. You have such a friendly and delightful voice to be able to guide people into themselves. So on that note, I mean, I just applied to like 10 more meditation apps last week. There's so many meditation, mindfulness, guided visualization apps that exist right now. Like more and more every month are happening. All of them have.
I just Google that. Do I just Google that, Bradley? Just Google meditation apps and just approach them all and
Google like top 50 meditation apps, top 50 mindfulness apps, top 50 spirituality apps. You're going to get more than you can handle. And then from there, you have to, because they get a lot of submissions, you have to really catch them. So for me, I talk about I think I've posted the my outreach email in the past, but I can dig that up and find it on like how I approach it, so you can see how to structure the email, because I usually do get a response from most of the apps, whether they're accepting people or not accepting people. You need to give them, so you need to introduce yourself. You need to tell them how you're going to contribute to their platform, and you need to show them your work. So you have to give them some samples of your best samples that you have of what you've done. And then from there, all you're doing is you're inviting an exploration to see if your content would be a fit for their audience or their app. It's usually pretty straightforward. Most of these companies, especially now, it's less of a Wild West. They all have like a fairly similar business model. It's either you get a percentage based on like downloads and plays and stuff like that of your content, or it's like they just pay you a straight up fee for each track, or they just buy it out and say, we're going to give you $500 per track, and that's going to be, for the lifetime of that track, and it's non-exclusive. Most of the apps are non-exclusive. Other than Daily Ohm, I mean, none of the apps that I'm on are exclusive licensing. So, I'm licensing across all different platforms. So I mean, the audio piece, the like licensing and white labeling a course, I think is a harder thing to do. You need to find a course academy, and any course academy that's licensing online courses like video, etc. The production quality for most of those, at least the ones that I've seen, has to be pretty high and consistent with the brand that they already have. Daily Ohm is an exception to that. Their courses are video courses, and I've seen some really poorly done courses that they're selling. But the Daily Ohm sells their courses for cheap. Their courses are sliding scale. They're like $15 to $40 or something like that. So I think the production quality is expected to be a little bit lower.
Okay, so, and how will I know who would be looking for licensed course material? I can't remember the term you used.
All of them. I mean, you just assume. I emailed 10 or 15 last week. And if you see like, hey, we have a library, or check out all of our teachers, that means they're licensing courses and content. And they're either just like, those teachers are either available for hire and they just pay them like, hey, we're going to give you $500 to produce us some content, or those teachers are coming to them with their content. I recommend you create some high quality content. So let's just say you want to license audios, create 3 really high quality audios that is like the foundational work for what you do. So, you know, you could create one for yourself, Jenny. I am an energy being. Create a guided audio experience that is that. It's very easy to license the music. If you have a good microphone, and I just put in some sound panels here this week, which I'm so excited about for getting into the studio here. But if you create like the first few, your creative process is come up with the idea. What are 3 audios you want to do? Next step is write the scripts. Next step is produce. Next step is to edit it. Next step is to add music. Next step is to export it. Next step is to reach out and get licensing partners and say, here's my audios. Because a lot of the ones, and I'm not recording meditations right now. I haven't recorded meditations for a long time. I'm only going to record meditations if like they commission me and it's a well-paid thing, because I've already done 48 meditations. Like I have that body of work. I don't need to make more. So for you, you know, once you get your foot in the door with the apps, all the apps I'm on are always asking me, do you have new meditations? Do you have new meditations? I could be making more, but I'm doing a lot of other things. So I just don't have the bandwidth to do more meditations. But if you can get your foot in the door, then you have basically a creative license to, every time you create a track, send them the new track, and they're either going to approve it or not approve it. But it's, there's a lot of, once you start to get your foot in the door with those different apps and platforms, like you've kind of got a relationship for a long time that can start to earn money every single month.